cream. Look at that. That crema is just mind-blowing. You don't see that in any other pod-based coffee makers. The Nespresso Vertuo Pop Plus. This is the Nespresso compact version of their pod-based coffee makers. There's so many benefits of this thing and so many cool aspects of the pods they use that have barcodes that the machine scans and separates it from other pod-based coffee machines. Let me talk about the details and show you what I'm talking about. So one of the best parts and often overlooked and not talked about enough aspects of the Nespresso machines that make them so much better than other coffee machines on the market that require pods is the fact their pods barcode that goes around the pods. Those black lines and silver lines are barcode. When you open this up and stick this into the machine, the Nespresso machine reads that barcode and knows exactly how much water to push through from the water container through the device and into your cup. It doesn't have to be told what to do. It knows what to do through the barcodes, and every single one has a different brewing process. Now, you can see here, every machine comes with a little variety pack, which I think is very rad by Nespresso because you get to learn which ones you like the most, and you can reorder those accordingly. The ones at the top are espressos. Ones in the middle are more of a double espresso, so you're getting about 3 ounces of fluid. The espressos are just under 2 ounces, or just under 1.5 ounces, I should say. And then the full cups of coffee are about 8 ounces total. And then they do have a carafe option as well through a pod that'll give you about 18 ounces of water and coffee as well. What's really cool that separates this from other like K-pods you get in a Keurig is rather than piercing the top and the bottom and then forcing hot water through the plastic, what this one does and what Nespresso does, which is great, is uses a centrifuge of water to spin. So it'll poke a hole, as you can see here. See if I can lighten this up. That main center plunger will poke a hole in the top of this pod. And then these other plungers around will poke holes in a 360-degree fashion around this pod itself, and then it'll spin this. So this will spin inside the machine, and the centrifuge and that motion will cause the extraction of coffee to be forced out of that external holes that are going in 365 degrees, and then force that into your cup. So you're getting a much more rich, robust flavor and better crema in your cup. And the flavor coming out of these pods are so much better than K-pods, I can't even explain it. And there's so much different variety you can get. They do have options for reusable pods too on Amazon. You can look it up. It's a stainless steel pod that looks like this that you can put your own coffee into, tamp it down like an espresso machine, and then you screw on the lid and it has a barcode on it and you slide it in and it works just fine. So if you don't want to have a bunch of plastic waste and a bunch of trash that you're putting over the earth because you want to have instant coffee, that is a good option, and you're not forcing hot water through plastic all the time, which is microplastic problems. And if you know about all that, it is a huge plus. So that is an option. You can use your own coffee and reuse the same stainless steel pod every time. So you have about a 33, 34 ounce water container in the back. It's not as big as the Vertuo Plus. The Vertuo Plus has about a 62 ounce container, I believe, 60 ounce, something like that. So you have a lot bigger container, but it's also a larger machine. This is much more compact. Trash can. So once you're done and you lift this lid up, it kicks the pod out. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to deal with it. First world benefits, I guess, and it'll fall right into this tray. And obviously it'll gather water and debris, so make sure to wash it out occasionally. You don't want mold building up in your machine. But it catches all the trash. Drip tray, you can remove it. You can put it in the bottom, or you can put it up here. There's only 2 options. I wish they had a little extra, third one. Higher up is good for an espresso shot. That way you're not getting a bunch of splattering effect all over your counter. It'll drop it in just fine. And you can remove it completely if you have a larger mug or a smaller travel mug. It's not the most space you can get, but you can elevate this onto a higher surface than put a mug underneath of it. You can put it on a higher countertop like this, and then you can have a mug underneath of it, and then you'll be good to go for a travel mug. I'm gonna try this one first. Very simple. Like I said, you take this pod, you put it right here in the top, just like that, foil side up. You push this down, you'll hear it compress and puncture the top of that, and you lock this into place like that. Once it's locked, you're good to go. And all you gotta do is hit the power button. Oh, first I'm gonna add some water. Oh, that's better, more water. You can see there's a little open section there. That's what's gonna fit towards the machine. It won't spill, it's not gonna leak out the bottom, which is a very nice feature. Negative is I wish this little section would rotate. I wish it spins around. Vertuo Plus, which is the larger version of the Nespresso machine, has a water container that can spin around in different directions or stay directly behind it to give you options for where you put it on the counter. This machine does not have that. You have it on the one side only, snaps in, and you're good to go. There you go. And within 30 seconds, it'll pull water, heat it up, and then start extracting. And this is a 1.35 ounce extraction. So it's very little. It's an espresso shot, so don't expect to have a lot more. So it's heating up. Takes less than 30 seconds rather than waiting 1.5 to 2 minutes like Keurig machines do. And there you go. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That crema too. Because it's spinning that coffee out, it creates a really nice crema coming out of this machine that you usually only get out of really expensive espresso machines, which I have and I love, but this is so fast. And the extraction is very bold and flavorful. Just like that. So with less than a minute, you have coffee extracted. And it's the same amount of time for even 8-ounce pods as well. It doesn't take longer. It's just the machine knows what it's doing and it'll pump it out accordingly. It usually takes a minute or less. Look at that. That's incredible. Good crema, and you want to fold that in. Obviously, you could use a spoon to fold it in, or you can shake it a little bit because that crema has got a lot of flavor in it. All right, let's move on to a larger cup. We'll do the 8-ounce pour, and I'll show you that, and then we'll wrap this video up. Comes up, pod kicks out, goes in here, good to go. You put the next pod in, you shut it down, you twist the top to the locked position, you put your cup down. I'm gonna put a little whipped cream in here. I prefer that and do it preemptively. That way you have a little bit of sweetness mixed in with your coffee. It's up to you. I mean, you can use froth cream or milk or sugar or syrups, whatever you want to use, but that's always a fun way of doing it. Hit the button. It knows, it spins and it's scanning that little barcode, knows exactly how much water it needs to put out, exactly 7.77 ounces, and it'll extract within a minute, just like the 1.5 ounce one did. Yep. Less than 30 seconds you heated up the water and you're already getting extraction. Look at that. Rotate the cup around and mixes that in with the whipped cream. Look at that. That crema is just mind-blowing. You don't see that in any other pod-based coffee makers. You'll get a really good pull and be on your way with your coffee. Look at that. And it's not loud. I thought with the spinning aspect of this, it would be very loud, but it's not. And this is over multiple Nespresso machines I've reviewed. Oh, might be getting close. Be cutting this close. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. Oh. Please stop. Stopping? Stopping now? Stopping ever? We're gonna test the drip tray in a second. Ah! Oh, look at that. Like a glove. Wow. That's a delicious looking cup of coffee, pre-mixed with milk and some sugar. So all in all, the Nespresso Vertuo Pop Plus. It's compact, very easy to manage, one button operation, has all the regular Nespresso pods that you can use. They have all different flavors and options and sizes and overall fluid ounces. You don't have to think about it. You just push a button and within a minute you have coffee at your disposal. Go check it out. Very rad. Nespresso Vertuo Pop Plus. Great option.